know who'll be stopping by to say hello. Out here it's real life, no fuss, no show. With Highland cattle and piggies on the go. We got meat, birds, fur babies too. Gardens growing fresh, right in view. I'm thinking up love in all that I do, and helping the small folks to see them through. Welcome to the Proms, where the fun's running wild, with the homestead heart and a country style. We're growing good food and raising some joy, and giving a hand to each girl and boy. So come on by, have a laugh or two at the Proms. We're waiting just for you. Out in the yard, where the chickens roam, we're building a life that feels like home. From the veggies we grow to the soil we turn, it's a simple life and so much to learn. I'm baking bread, smell the warm, sweet air. Piggies squealing, love's everywhere. We lend a hand to channels that care, because lifting each other is what we share. Welcome to the Proms, where the fun's running wild, with a homestead heart and a country style. We're growing good food and raising some joy, and giving a hand to each girl and boy. So come on by, have a laugh or two at the Proms. We're waiting just for you. So come on and join, let's build it together through thick and thin in any weather. We're all in this, let's make it better at the Proms. It's a life to treasure. Welcome to the Proms, where the fun's running wild, with a homestead heart and a country style. We're growing good food and raising some joy, and giving a hand to each girl and boy. So come on by, have a laugh or two at the Proms. We're waiting just for you. Yeah, at the Proms, we're waiting just for you.
It's a great day to be in the sugar shack. Have a few drinks while we boil down the sack. If you're looking for me, I don't know when I'll be back, but you'll find me out at the sugar shack. Spring is here, and those maples are all tapped. We got cold beer, and those buckets are full of sap. So I guess it's maple syrup time again, and you can smell the maple sugar in the wind. And it's a great day to be in the sugar shack. Have a few drinks while we boil down the sack. And if you're looking for me, I don't know when I'll be back, but you find me out at the sugar shack. All here, and there's still lots of room. Let's get weighed, play that maple sugar tune, and we can boil all day and all night, and pray that the sugar comes out right. And it's a great day to be in the sugar shack. Have a few drinks while we boil down the sack. And if you're looking for me, I don't know when I'll be back, but you'll find me out at the sugar shack. All right, you know it, let's sing it. And it's a great day to be in the sugar shack. That sounds good. Have a few drinks while we boil down the sack. It's as sweet as maple syrup. And if you're looking for me, I don't know when I'll be back. I'm here, but you find me out at the sugar shack. And if you're looking for me, I don't know when I'll be back, But you find me out at the Sugar Shack. Hey, Jeff, is that getting close? You find me out at the Sugar Shack. Oh, it smells good, brother. You find me out at the Sugar Shack. I think we better take off our batch. Hey, man, we're waiting on...
Oops. Hit the wrong button. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful procrastination day. Because I know I am. And nothing says procrastination like me. Let's get right back up to the top here and say hello. Ooh, why, Joey, you've been beat out. Big Mike, he slid in here long before you, and even Rebecca. You're gone to third place, Joey. Well, hello to Mike, hello to Rebecca, and hello to Joey. And g'day to the skipper. How are you? Yes, it has been a long time no see. But, yeah. Who else have we got here? I just want to get through everybody. Hey, Arlene. Karen. Howdy. Christian. Oh, boy. I'm right down at the bottom. Yay! So, I have a buddy of mine that is for my auction. It auctioned for coins and all that stuff. It's very, very hard to keep them separated. So I'm talking to my buddy who is a mastermind, and this guy just went. He bought a mill. I'm sure this sucker wipes your behind. It will do up to 40-foot logs, 38 inches in diameter. This thing is the Taj Mahal of mills. He's just he's setting himself up for retirement. And he's just about there. He's got himself his own butcher shop. He's got himself, well, he's got cattle, he's got pigs, he's got, chickens and eggs and meat birds and all that good stuff. Now he went out and bought himself a brand new mill this weekend, or this last week. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful mill. And I'm used to like the 20-footers, So he's like, guess how much? I'm like, I don't know, 15 to 20? He laughed at me. He's like, yeah, that was the down payment. I went, what? So, yeah, he's been waiting on this for 8 months for it to be made. Everything's hydraulic. It's got scales. 2 guys should be able to do 4,000 board feet a day. And that's just not a push it hard. That's just a fun day on the farm. Whew, boy, all I can say, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Anyways, come back. He is designing me I'll just show you. So this is what I want, and it's got 3 different levels, and you put all your your coins and everything on there. And, but I said, they're so hard to find. I said, so we've been sitting back and forth, bantering back and forth. And he's got the router and everything set up at his shop. Actually, I think he said he's going to try to hit it with, run it over the table saw, or I don't know how he's going to do it. That's his thing. But yeah, I may end up selling these things for him because they are darn near hard to find. Exactly, Mike. Unless you're ginger. Just saying. But anyways, I hope everybody's having a fabulous day. I haven't decided if I'm going to go. What I might do is do a double live tomorrow. I may go live on the auction and go live on YouTube. And if you like what you see, you can flip-flop back and forth. Again, it's I've been collecting this stuff for 35 years. It's been sitting in bins, especially that table right here. All sports memorabilia that bought, well, there's a box behind this box, is all full of sports memorabilia. I've got signed pictures. I've got, you name it. So, but I think I learned my lesson last Saturday and Sunday. I went during the day. And a couple of the resellers said, don't do it during the day. You can start during the day, but leave your good stuff till into the evening. He said, because one of the secrets is some people sit down and have a beverage. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not into that. If you could sleep at night knowing that somebody is probably intoxicated buying your stuff, it doesn't sit well with my morals. But I am going to go a little bit later. Yeah, because everybody's doing stuff during the day. And if you're in Oklahoma, you're just, man, oh man, the pictures that I'm seeing and the prayers that are being asked. I don't know if anybody's been talking to Christine and Johnny this morning, but I read at least 4 or 5 different messages from Christine to please pray. So if you haven't, put Johnny and Christine in your prayers today, and well, everybody. From I've seen there's been twisters as into Dallas, or not Dallas, Houston, just south of Jesse and them. And yeah, it's horrible. Absolutely horrible. So, I'll put up with 3 feet of snow for a month. I will. Looks like my phone will too. But it, yeah, my thoughts and prayers go to everybody that's down south right now. Actually, even up as far as Glendon, Sir Grace. Last weekend they were under tornado warnings, and I know they're not up closer to, well, we're about 10 hours apart, give or take. That's what the GPS says. We're about 10 hours apart. And yeah. What else? What else? What else? Oh, anybody that's around the area, my my conference is the homesteading conference here is starting to pick up quite quickly. Sponsors are coming in left, right, and center. Now we're going to start working on vendors. I've already got a bee guy to come talk to everybody about bees, setting up bees, good thing, bad thing, what's endangering them right now. So yeah. So this is a pastime for this fella. His main job is he owns a funeral home. So this is his clear his mind, go out and work with the bees. And I tell you what, I love his honey. Say that twice, Mike, real fast. It's just easier to say Skipper. Yeah. So I guess just getting back to the what else have I got? I've got bees. Remy's going to do a video. He was supposed to come up, but then I believe it's his son made it into provincial, some sport that they do down east, and it's not fishing. Oh, congratulations, Rebecca. Oh, your independence is back. God bless. That's good news, Rebecca. No, I've been so busy with being promoted to deputy mayor. So the extra work up at the township, meetings, trying to get this conference off the ground. I do have I have an amazing guy looking after all my social media. He knows social media inside out and backwards. So we've been after work dealing with that. And yeah, we had a flood in the basement here. So when it rains, it pours. And hey, Karma, nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. And if Logan's around, hello to you, Logan, too. Your stuff was mailed out Monday. You should have got, I do believe it's hung up at U.S. Customs right now. I got it out as soon as I could. First thing Monday morning. And yeah, it's been sitting at U.S. Customs now since Tuesday. I know there's a backlog right now because everybody tried to get it across by Tuesday. So I don't know if they're grandfathering us or how they're doing it. I may be dropping Canada Post as a shipper and go back with my other guys. Just simply for the fact that it costs me the same. Well, it doesn't cost me. This is what I love about Whatnot. They look after collecting the money. They look after everything. They look after the shipping. I just have to print off my labels, lick and stick them, and send them on their way. And that's all I have to do is actually do the selling, do the packaging, and away they go. But it costs the same amount if I ship what year is this? 85 peso or a mug. Same price. I'm like, that's not fair, because I actually lost a lot of sales on the weekend because people were like, you charged us $10. And the one lady, who actually, she bought quite a bit of my stuff on Sunday. She's not that far from Jesse and Lisa, down in Houston. And I bundled all her stuff, but they still charged her one price. So I've been talking to support about that. I said, that's not right. So again, it's brand new. I'm learning. They've only been at cross-border shipping for a little bit now, so there's starting to be more up in Canada. I know there's a fairly big fella in Vancouver Island. There's myself. I don't know if the skipper sells on there or not. But anyways, their commissions are very low that I have to pay. So Debbie's elated. She gets money, because let's face it, it goes into the bank account. She gets money, and then she also gets the open space that all my, she calls it junk. It's not junk. I bought a 1998 Toyota Avalon. It does need work, but it's not too bad. Okay. Well, in 98, at least there's not 152 different computers in it. It's pretty basic setup. Toyota's aftermarket prices aren't the cheapest, but they're not the most expensive either. So that's a really, really dependable, and I'm sure it's not full of rust. You guys wouldn't run near the salt we do. Yeah, no, that's awesome, Rebecca. Get enough to get it safety, get your independence back, and yeah. Yeah, that's right. Karma's only fixing breakfast because she's on the far side of the world. But what else was I going to say? Other than that, it's just been redonkulous. I'm trying to catch I'm actually catching more on the rerun than what I am live. But hey, I still want to support family and friends, and yeah, other than that, like I said, I don't have a whole lot. It's just been one of those days, and I'll throw up the link if anybody wants to come and have a chit chat. So yesterday was the first day that they boiled. Of course, I was in meetings all day. So it's finally started to run here. I saw Tony and Joni. They bottled, I think, yesterday. Yeah. I honestly don't know, because it's not going to run today. It's too cold. What are we looking at for temperature here right now? Weather. Oh, okay. I take that back. It's probably running like an SOB. It is 13, which would be 52, roughly. Yeah, about 52 Fahrenheit. And it is raining. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, it's funny. Toronto is 4 degrees colder, and they're supposed to, well, there's so much. Oh, good, Rochelle's not here. So much hot air in Toronto. It's normally a lot warmer than what we are. But not today, folks. Not today. So we've went from 4 feet of snow to some fields are bare already. So it's been it's been above zero. Oh, gracious. Calling a whole bunch of ambulances to a certain area right now. So that's never good. Could very well just be an accident also. But other than that, come on up, guys. I'm sitting here for once. Once the Rambler's going ba da ba da ba da ba 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 da ba 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 ba. So let's see. As long as I didn't see, let me look and see. I didn't see if Johnny has done up if they're going to be going live tonight or not, but I will look here. Hopefully, they will be live. But yeah, they are going to be live tonight at 5. So don't forget, guys. And if you haven't seen Johnny's last video about the auction, you got it. That's an old time Amish auction. And that's what we have around here is one of the Amish farms. They just bring everything over. Hey, Dave. So I don't know if you heard, Dave, but mark your calendar, May 10th. She's definitely a go now. I have no options of pulling out. We have too many sponsors involved now. The outpouring of local support is humbling. But they all get it, and they all agree that, teaching people how to live on their own. What is that? That's bugging me. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. No, it's not that light. You guys see that too, right? There's like the on the other side of my. Oh, I see what it is. I bet you it's this one up here. I got so many lights going on here. No. Nee, 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 nee. So yeah, Dave, May 10th. 9 to 4. I do believe I have to get in charge with well, I've already talked to the base commander, but he put me through to, I don't know the ranking. I just got is that a bag of greenhouse tomatoes, or were they grown in the bog? Not sure. And oh yeah, bag. Okay, that's what I thought. It, all that we're trying to do is teach people that, I bought so many seeds last night. Probably about 6,000 seeds. Now, before you start jumping down my throat, those seed haters, it's actually what we're doing is to attract more people. Kids are going to be given 3 seeds in a red solo cup, and they're going to grow some herbs, which they're going to bring back July 28th to our Herb Fest. And I'm going to design a sheet where it's interactive, but it gets the kids more involved with, how much did your herb grow this month? Was there any, significant changes? And then have them write, or mom and dad can write, um, even a 50-word thing about their whole adventure with, or their first adventure with planting herbs. And then at Herb Fest, council is going to, yeah, council's going to pick like the top 3, and I'll personally go out and buy 3 really good gifts for kids. I'm thinking first place will probably be a bicycle. I have one of the people that said that they'll talk to the owner. They think they might sponsor a bicycle for me. What they'll do is just give me a gift card for $200, and I can either, hey sis, minute to eat. What are we having for lunch, sis? Now, she's trying to wolf down some food, so she may not be chatting with everybody right now. Ooh, she's got herself some Chick-fil-A. Mm-hmm. That stuff is addictive. Thank goodness it's far enough out of my... It's in Ottawa, which there and back is an hour drive. Am I going to drive there for fast food? Probably not. Now, whenever I'm in the city, it's on the way out of the city. So, but again, it's at the outlet mall. So nothing screams, let's go to the outlet mall like Chick-fil-A. And I can even get my pink girly drink that Sir Grace and I enjoy, and it's only pink because of the strawberries. So good. We have 15 minutes from home going off then. Yeah, it was quite expensive. Kyle and I stopped, I guess the last time I went down to the States. And it was it $30? It was high 20s, at least, if not 30. And that's nothing extravagant. 2 drinks, 2 sandwiches, and wedge fries. But you just asked me to make a stop after we're done with the next. I'm sorry, sis. Hey, brother, you get me one too. Oh, I knew exactly what you were talking about. I knew exactly what you were talking about. Oh, man. BLT for lunch with your own lettuce. Wow, my lettuce is starting to come up quite a bit. I have to transplant quite a few. I can't. So all the ones that I grew and took the seeds out of the veggies that I wanted to grow this year, I'm getting a 0 grow rate. I don't know what I did wrong. I dried them out. I soaked them. I planted them, and they not grow at it. So I guess I do what I did last night. I ordered some from Rainbow Seeds. And they're the same company that is sponsoring the Vineyard Chicks collab. So if they're an amazing company, and I think it's over $50. I even tried to get to $50 last night. I couldn't. I have probably 300 different seeds for different like sauce-based tomatoes, like Mariana's, and there's a couple other ones that I've never even heard of that they have down there. And I'm like, well, they have the same grow temperatures and whatever as we do, so I should do very well growing the same ones as them. But they have like different like high temperature seeds, and for warmer climates. And but anyways, if you do go see rainbowseeds.com, I believe, .com, put in Broom 10, BRUM 10, and you save an extra 10% off your order. So I don't know, I saved like $6 or $7 off my order last night. And shipping is next to nothing. It was $4.62 to ship it. And I've always wanted to grow my own rhubarb. I'm looking at the Armed Forces Recruiting Center asking Sir Grace if he wants free insurance. And I could actually see how Sir Grace would turn that down right now.
Hey,
brother,
what's going on?
Living the dream.
I can't see nothing on this.
How are you?
Oh, wow.
You guys okay where you are? No fires? No,
we had them.
Okay.
There was one south of us.
There was one south of us, one north of us, but that was up just above the west and north of Tulsa. Those were the nearest ones. But I think there was like 104 wildfires between the 14th and the 17th of March.
Well, the last update that I saw last week, there was 131 just in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Now, that could have just been, like the size of a campfire versus, hectares or, acres of burning.
Yeah, but we had a good sized one that was right down the road here. And I'm telling you something, in Oklahoma, when the wind starts blowing and you've got 60-mile-an-hour winds and that prairie grass catches on fire for whatever reason, it goes quick, fast, in a hurry. It's nuts. But
I was just watching, before I went live, I was just watching Chrissy and them with their barn flipped over. It's like, wow. And she's like, is that smoke, or is what is that?
Yeah, they did a loafing barn, but they wanted a loafing barn that they could move. It was not anchored into the ground permanently. And that day we had straight line winds over 75 miles an hour. So It was crazy.
The one south of it, there's one that's 152 acres that was a wildfire.
Yeah.
Wow.
We got it 85% contained, but then they did a prescribed burn around it that's 1,211 acres.
Who does a prescribed burn when you've got high winds like that? That's just, I mean, I get it. The ranchers burn their fields so grass will grow better into the spring and stuff like that. But yeah, it's prairie grass is like matches.
Not whenever you have 50-mile-an-hour winds is not a good time to light a fire.
It was almost consistent yesterday, 50.
Yeah, yesterday was consistent 50-mile-an-hour winds.
Not just
Wow.
But and then of course we had the damage to our Jeep. The oak tree out here, it blew so hard that there was one dead branch, and it was a huge one. And it went from that tree. When it fell, it blew it straight over towards the pavilion and then hit the Jeep. So $4,500 worth of damage, and it's at the shop. So,
oh my God, it's crazy. And yeah, like Glenda just said, they had a wicked storm last night, and their neighbor lost part of their barn.
Oh yeah.
Is that the one right behind you, Glenda, that just lost her husband? Because that would be a twofer. Poor lady. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. I think high winds and tornadoes in Oklahoma, that's just part of the landscape cleanup. If you've got an old dilapidated building, they're usually gone because when we went to Ada, Oklahoma, beginning of the month, they had one, and the straight line winds were over 90 miles an hour. And we went through town, and it was like telephone poles just snapped off, and they were laying. In fact, we went by one place, and the telephone pole was laying on top of a gas station cover.
Yeah, the island.
Over the pumps and stuff like that. I'm just like, and they had it all taped off so nobody, because they couldn't get to it right then. So they lost power and stuff like that. So it's crazy.
Now, Ada, that's where the Mike and Tanya
Fowler. They're in that area. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The Fowlers.
Yeah.
But that's where Blake Shelton was born and raised.
Okay.
So yeah. And it's only like what, 35 miles away?
I was going to say, I can remember whenever we were going to the meetup, you said if you go down that way, that's where Blake Shelton grew up. So right. I kind of have a rough idea where that is.
Yeah. But we've had so much wind over since we've been here. It's just normal. You just put extra screws and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my goodness, Glenda, and their shed got it too. Holy rattling.
Wow.
And it is the same poor lady that just lost her husband. Oh, that's all she needs.
Yeah.
And hey, Cynthia, all the way from the Netherlands. Hopefully you're doing well in the Netherlands and you're not getting storms like what these guys are down below.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Now we did last night went on our live. We shouted out another Canadian channel. It's called Ernie's Cabin, and he's off grid up in Canada. Ernie's with apostrophe S Cabin, and he's off grid, and he's a small channel. He's got like 985 subscribers, but fell in love with his channel, just the landscape, the wildlife, and then him just singing songs he's making up as he's walking around. So
that's him there.
That's him right there. Yeah, that's Ernie.
Well, now I'm subscribed.
So yeah, it's a good little channel.
Does he say where he's from? It doesn't in his description. Just says
Yeah,
outdoor cabin in the forest.
yeah, he just lives outdoors in the woods. And I think on one of his videos he said that he was going to go somewhere, so he uploads it somewhere else because he has nothing out there. So
Oh, yeah, okay. So he's got to go into town and
somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
so yeah, I noticed that I didn't know you were heavy into coin collecting, and
oh yeah,
I didn't know that.
I've been doing that for several years, and then I
Really?
got back into it, and I'm like, well, I said to Kyle, I'm like, are you ever gonna do anything with this stuff? Probably not.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, why leave it sit in bins? I collected it for people to see it and stuff like that. Like I have some hockey cards that are vintage.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but they're over 30 years old.
Yeah. Well, I had I collected baseball cards for years since I was a kid.
Okay.
And I grew up in this, in the 60s and mid 70s. And then I lived in Mesa, Arizona, and that's where spring ball is played in the Cactus League. And we used to ditch school for opening day of spring training. And one of my favorite memories was the Oakland Athletics played like less than a half a mile from our house at Rendezvous Park. That was their ballpark back then in the 60s. And I guess it was like 1968. I faked that I was sick. And my mom went to work and all my sisters went to school. And back then you didn't have babysitters. You just stayed at home. And I took off and I went down to Rendezvous Park because the Oakland Athletics. Now you got to remember something. When I grew up in the 60s, everybody around us was either white or Mexican, or that was it. I'd never, ever seen a person of color, someone that was black. I never, ever seen one. And we heard on the news that they had drafted a guy named Jesse Jackson. And I said, man, I got to see this guy. So I faked being sick, took my old Little League baseball glove with me, went down to Rendezvous Park, went through the oleanders that lined the field, went under where we knew there was a hole in the fence. And I went underneath there and I snuck in there. And I got to meet this guy. And I was like, well, holy smokes. And he's like 6'4" or whatever he was. And I had my glove and I had a pen, and he signed my Little League glove. And so I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden someone comes up to me. I'm sitting in the stands, and someone taps me on the shoulder, and it was a truant officer. Boy, I got my tail whooped that night. And it wasn't so much skipping school that I lied to my mother. So, and she was good with it. So yeah, that was, and I started collecting baseball cards all the way back in 67. And I had a break-in in my house. I was going to Washington, D.C. for a leadership training, and somebody had broken into my house, and I had probably 60,000 baseball cards. And I mean, I had rookie cards, Nolan Ryan's. I had all kinds of cards, and they stole every last thing. And so they knew I had it, and that's what they stole. And I had it all in one room. It was nothing but memorabilia in there, and they wiped it out.
Yeah.
So.
anyways, it once they start getting, costly, like, I have one coin that I actually bought it recently, but the damn thing's worth $150 for one
Yeah.
single coin, and it's
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse, but it's silver. So
Right.
it's got a two banger. It's, Mickey Mouse, and it's silver.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, it's it silver's starting to be a lot of trading, and I did have quite a bit of silver from way back.
Yeah.
So stuff that I probably paid like $1 or $2 for is now worth, $50-$60 US.
Yeah. And you would think over the years, because they're using silver more and more as conductors and computers and all kinds of stuff, that it would be worth more than what it really is now. So,
well, that's it. Like, whenever I bought it, it was probably worth like $5 an ounce or whatever.
mm-hmm.
Now it's up to last I checked was $33-$34 an ounce.
Yeah.
And that's not like, I got them all put away somewhere. And another thing, I'm actually quite shocked. I had a bunch of copper. Copper's being like, that's hugely traded right now.
Right.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Copper. Like, oh gracious. Yeah, I don't know where I had it put away. I was measuring a whole bunch of stuff here. This one here, they call it a maple, and it's the Canadian maple, and the queen. $50 all day.
Yeah.
But
I know a lot of people, they get into the metal detecting, and I started watching Duck Dynasty guys. They came out with their metal detecting series, and it started picking up again just because of that, and what you can actually find if you do your research, and not just go out somewhere and metal detect, but you do your research where things happened. I know in the Southwest, there's a lot of towns that aren't there no more, and metal detecting people go to these old ghost towns and they find all kinds of stuff. Plus, a lot of them were like aluminum coins and stuff like that back in the day. So it's huge. I know that my uncle Carl was a coin collector. He had big old mason jars just full of coins. And I remember back in 1969, we were sitting in the living room. We were visiting my Uncle Carl in Rockford, Illinois. And we were sitting there, all the kids, and we were watching The Wizard of Oz because we didn't have a TV. And watching TV when you don't have a TV is
huge. Yeah, it's huge.
Of course, it was in black and white because the TV was black and white also. They didn't change it to color until later, but it was kind of weird. We're sitting there watching it and stuff, and all of a sudden something came across the bottom of the TV. It went wah, 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 and it was a weather warning, and it said there is a tornado detected in a place called Belvedere, Illinois. And so we're like going, oh my, there's a tornado. And my uncle goes, they're just trying to scare you kids. How appropriate putting a warning on there when you're watching The Wizard of Oz and stuff like that. Then all of a sudden we heard it about 15 minutes later. And I remember my uncle grabbing his coin collections.
I'm not worried about you guys.
He grabbed the plastic crate that bottled sodas go in, and he had all his coins, and he was going down into the basement. And I still remember my Aunt Vicky going, blankety blank, Carl, you need to get the kids down there. To heck with your coin collection. They fought the whole time we were in the basement because he took his coin collection over the kids and the women and all that other stuff.
Oh yeah,
This
priorities.
is the future. I'm going to pay the house off with all this. So yeah, and see, he worked for Pepsi Cola,
Okay.
right? And he would go and empty the machines and collect the money, and he would sit there for hours before he turned in the coins, and he would go through all the coins out of the machines and then replace it with new money and take all those coins because people put all kinds of stuff in them soda machines and stuff like that. So especially they had a lot of Canadian coins that were the perfect size and you could replace it for like a nickel or whatever in the machines and stuff. Because if you had a Canadian coin, not a lot of people take it in the United States. Of course, it's because it's a foreign currency or whatever. But
Absolutely.
I just remember him doing that.
Well, it's the same as, a peso.
Yeah.
I probably have about 10 of them, but it's a collect, that one peso's worth, that specific peso's worth like $3 or $4.
Right.
Who knew?
Yeah, when we lived in Sierra Vista, I was working at Fort Huachuca. The Walmart there and a grocery store, they were the two top peso earners in all of Arizona.
Okay.
They took in more pesos than they took in U.S. currency, and their register was because they would ask you, "Are you paying with U.S. or peso?" And if you're coming across the border, because you could, because there's a lot of people that come up every day and work for the day and then go back home, teachers and people, whatever, and they would pay with the peso. So the registers were set up for taking either or.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Oh no, it's it's just I enjoy like sitting down. I've got like containers and containers of, silver.
Yeah.
I bet you a quarter of this is worth something.
Right.
I've just had it sitting around.
Yeah.
This one, these are all Canadian pennies.
Yeah.
They're out of circulation. So
you guys don't use the penny no more up there?
Oh hell, we haven't used a penny for probably 6 years, 5-6 years.
Really? Because that's what they want to do here.
Well, it's so much easier if you're paying plastic, you pay what the price is, and if you're paying cash, they either round it up or down, depending on. And you know what? I kept track for a little while, and it pretty much equaled out to. Actually, I think I was actually up a penny or two, and it just doesn't make sense. It costs them, I think it's 2 to 1. So it costs them double to make a penny than what the penny's actually worth.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And again, the mint said, I forget how many millions of dollars they said that they saved in the course of a year not running the penny.
Yeah.
So anything I think past 56 and older, there's copper in them.
Yeah.
And then your dimes, there's a lot of silver in that, and quarters.
Yeah.
There's a lot of silver, and I think it's
a lot of zinc as replacement metal in coins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like a filler for them. I do know that overseas, when I was stationed overseas, as military and as a civilian working for the government, they haven't taken the penny overseas at military exchanges and commissaries forever. And then and I'm going, wow, that's kind of weird. And then I had to attend a marketing strategy course, and marketing. The rule is when you price something, you use the formula of fives and nines.
Yep.
When you look at prices and stuff like that, instead of saying $20, you say $19.95. And for some reason, it's some kind of mental thing, this 5 and 9 usage, because it seems like, hey, that's better. That's not $20, or whatever. But now it's because they wanted to get away from the penny and using it because the copper mines just destroy the land.
Oh, absolutely.
They strip mine that stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest places you can go, if you ever go to Arizona, you got to visit Bisbee, Arizona. And Bisbee is like 17 miles from Tombstone, and they have one of the largest. It's a huge copper mine, and it's just a big, gigantic hole in the ground. And the city was built around it. So yeah.
Well, I noticed that whenever I was trucking down in the U.S., and it doesn't matter where you are, but pretty much every small town U.S. is you have the industry in the middle and the housing around it.
Yeah.
And it's all across. It's not like Oklahoma's different. U.S. there's always the industry, housing, and then their shopping and, farming. And as you go further, it was actually quite neat to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, how many grain silo mills did you drive past when you go through the U.S. that's not being used anymore? You know what I mean?
That's it. There's a lot of like block. I'm not talking like poured concrete, block.
Yeah.
Silos that are I wouldn't want to go anywhere near it.
Yeah.
But like I'm just playing around, and this one penny, Canadian penny, is worth 37 cents. I don't know why, but it penny is only a cent, but it's worth 36 or 37 cents.
So
36 cents.
So I'm guessing the value of what people are willing to pay for it.
Oh, sure. But if
it's a precious metal, that's a different story because of the weight of the precious metal that's in it.
That's what this website that I deal with is. They go from sale history to what's actually in it for a metal. But
makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's only worth what somebody's willing to pay you.
Sure.
So
yeah.
There was one I was watching on that app. I was watching one guy last night. He was getting angry. Oh, you got to bid it up more. You got to bid it up more. Well, dude, people don't want it. Put it away. Go on to something else.
Is it because he had a stash of the same thing somewhere and he wants to bring it up?
Stack of them this big that he wanted to try to, get rid of them.
Yeah.
And, there was one thing that I let go for $1 this because I know people didn't want it. So I took a loss on it, but whatever. You take the good with the bad.
Yeah. So I had a friend, she worked at a bank. And she was the vault custodian at the bank.
Okay.
Meaning she had to go through all the money, and if it was like defaced or something like that, she'd turn it back into the treasury. They would get a replacement for it and stuff like that to take it out of circulation. But she was showing me one time, and I won't say her name or what bank she worked for, but she had boxes at her house of silver notes. And that was one of the things she did, was she would go through it. Oh, there's a silver, certificate note, $1, $2, whatever, $10, whatever. And she would set those aside. And then, of course, she would replace it. She'd go to the counter and says, oh, I need, like $100 out of my account. And she would get the money and she would replace those notes with that. And I mean, when I'm saying she had shoe boxes upon shoe boxes full of silver notes and stuff like that.
A lot of people, anything over 90%,
Yeah.
they'll melt it down.
Yeah.
Because it's worth more in a bar than what it is in, like, what have we got here? We got the Liberty, the Eagle.
Yeah.
You on a good day, you might get $20 for it.
Yeah.
But it's 90 or 95% silver.
Yeah.
Well, the people, that's what they're doing. They're smelting it down and they're making bars. So
now I do know that I was in Turkey when the Kurds got moved out of Iraq, and they were gassing the Kurds with mustard agent, and they went into the mountains of Turkey, and we had to go there and we had to feed them. So we rigged up sling loads of food and stuff like that and took it in on a helicopter and just dropped it somewhere. And I mean, they would just come and take everything. And there was a vendor that came over there right outside the gate of a base camp that they built for us. And he had all kinds of stuff. He was selling Turkish gold bracelets, and it was so dirt cheap. And I was looking, and he had this, I don't know what it was. It was like a serving plate on a little stand, and there was all kinds of coins in there. And I used to, everywhere I'd go, I'd get a coin that I never seen and stuff like that. All of a sudden, I look in there, and there's like, I think there was like 5 Lady Liberty silver dollars in there. And because I had dinar, Turkish dinar, whatever the currency there is. And he took a straight up 1-for-1 trade because it wasn't worth nothing to him.
I suppose it'd be worth nothing to him.
I gave him $5 worth of his money, and he gave me the coins, and because a lot of people collected coins and stuff like that, and that was part of the stuff that was stolen out of my house. And I can't remember, it was mid 1800, the Walking Liberty silver dollars or half dollars, whatever they were. But those got stolen also. So, and they're worth money.
Oh, tell me about it. So this one here, it is Dominion of Canada, 25 cents. Paper money.
25 cents.
25 cents. It is 1938. Manufactured here in Ottawa. $300.
Wow.
I won't let it go for any less than that.
Yeah.
That's how, like it's crazy. Like there's one guy said, it's not worth that. I have one. And I said, can I see it? Well, it looked like somebody took buckshot and he had more holes in it. I'm like, dude, there's no holes in this one.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh. And I'm like, yeah.
Because really, it's not worth anything but collecting and selling, and
The collectors,
because you
absolutely.
can't use it.
Your purchaser will be a high-end collector, like and there's still quite a few of those in circulation, but they're not as good as what this one is.
Yeah.
I have a $2 old red $2 Canadian bill coming that I bought from a guy. He's obviously doesn't know what he sold.
Right.
Because I got him down to $8. And on the market, it sells for $97.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
He's not a smart collector then.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
I don't think, and with today's day and age of these things, they're at, 2 clicks and you know exactly what anything's worth.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is what it is, but I don't know. I have fun with it. Like I've got an autographed football picture. I have a hockey memorabilia, Roger Nielsen, which is like a grandfather to the hockey here in Canada.
Yeah.
He's passed. But we sold pictures to build, down there. I think you guys have like Ronald McDonald houses at Children's Hospital. Well, here in Ottawa, we have Ronald McDonald House, but we also have a Roger Nielsen house.
Mm.
And the difference is the whole family can live together.
Yeah.
In the child's final days.
Right.
Where Ronald McDonald's only the child.
Yeah.
But there's like beds for parents and,
It's kind of like St. Jude hospitals.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Hey, Tiff. But, anyway, so what else is going on with you?
There's not really a lot. We're still working diligently to finalize a bunch of stuff for the Mid-America YouTube meetup, coordinating with the parks and getting people the information. We're getting a lot of information out to people. And it happens on May 16th through the 18th. And I think the 25th, 26th, and 27th of April is the 10 Killer meetup that Johnny and his crew are putting together over there. So right now we have a total of 79 channels that have signed up and made reservations. And then we have a bunch of subscribers, more than we've ever had. And then, like in past years for Mid-America, people just show up and we didn't have a clue that they were coming. So you figure out the 79 channels, how many people are each one of those channels bringing with them to go camping with the family and do things like that. So the 2023 meetup, we had just over 300 people at.
I was going to say there was just over between 3 and 350 to that one, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a lot of people we didn't even know was coming, and they show up, and that's great. And it may just be for the day, but the giveaway day is Saturday, the 17th. So we'll get there on the 15th, and we'll stay the 15th through Sunday, and come home on Monday morning from Mid-America. And probably exhausted like last time. So it's a lot. People don't realize how much work goes into doing a meetup. So
yeah. Oh, it's crazy. Like, Even doing this 1-day event that I'm doing here is, like there's two of us right now, and there's more people that are willing to help the day of.
Yeah.
But you don't want to get too many people, because then they double up, and two people go to the same person for money. Well, that looks pretty. So
Sure.
between Brandon and I, we're doing all the sponsorship ourselves, and we have somebody that's going to start helping us with vendors, and I've already got 4 or 5 different presenters for that day. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and my connection with the military.
Right.
I've got myself a helicopter coming in for the day.
Oh, wow.
So the kiddies are going to be able to go through armored personnel carrier. I don't know if they're going to send a Chinook or just a single prop. I don't know.
Right.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Sure.
Either way, the kids that flying low over the community to come into where we are, everybody in the community is going to be, the military's here. So,
Well, it is a big deal when you're not living around a military base. It's a big deal. I mean,
absolutely. But
when we do things on post and we bring in tanks and helicopters and all that stuff, it's still a big deal to the kids,
sure.
And stuff like that. So,
yeah. Oh yeah. No, I grew up right beside CFP Petawawa. So, one of the second largest base in Canada. So,
right.
I'm used to planes, trains, and automobiles and whatever else coming in and out of the base.
Now your military's, I think I looked it up a while back, and it's like 68,000 people serve in the military in Canada.
Yes.
And the because on Sergeant's Talk TV, my other channel that we do, we get people in, especially this last weekend. We had a lot of questions because President Trump is living rent free in a lot of people's brains. Because he makes outlandish statements that will never, ever, ever happen. And of course, somebody brought up the fact that Canada has a military that's about 68,000, but in contrast to how many people live in Canada, it's a big number compared to that. We have over 335 million people in the States, and just our Marine Corps is 167,000 strong. That's just the Marine Corps.
Well, that's it. But you take like per capita.
Yeah.
And right now, we're the same as you guys. This generation won't sign on the dotted line.
Right.
I think every kid that I know, other than my son, like my son's age, he's the only one that joined.
Yeah.
The rest, not even crossed their minds.
Yeah, our military is basically 3% of the population serving the military.
Yeah, and we're 2. One in. I think it's 2%.
Yeah,
and I think the last time I heard, we were about 17,000 short.
Yeah.
Now you guys would be way more than that short. But
yeah, the annual right now, the 2025 goal for just the Army is 61,000 recruits.
Mm-hmm.
And then doing the research because of the channel is that 20% of those don't make it to their second year in the military. They're usually gone or chaptered out of the military, or some kind of physical something happened to them. So 20% of that is usually gone. Their recruitment numbers have gone up since January, because we got rid of DEI and all that stuff in the military. And that's what drove a lot of people away, is the whole DEI portion and getting promoted because of that and not because of merit based. So now they've gone back to a merit based promotion system on, basically what can you provide, not just because you fall into a statistic. Let's put it that way.
Well, and yeah, I wish I could speak freely, but I know I'd get chastised for it. But it just, to see who the Canadian side has opened up the military to makes my stomach turn.
Sure.
Knowing that person could depend if my son lives or dies.
Right.
And it scares the hell out of me.
Sure. And as a parent, you have every right to feel that way.
And it's, like they'll pretty much take anybody now.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, then why did Kyle have to pass all these exams? And, there's two things that he's not qualified for in the military, and that's to be an engineer and I forget what else. But there was two things. And a fighter pilot, because he's too tall.
Right.
I told him, I'd keep hitting him in the head with a book and shrink him 3 inches, but he didn't go for that.
Yeah.
But
didn't he sign up to be an MP, but he got stuck in the artillery for a while?
So, yeah, he's in the reserves right now. The artillery reserves, the 427 squadron. And he's one of the only ones that got his stuff that he's fully. And that's another thing. All his licenses and whatever else. He, at 19, he was licensed to pull the cannons and personnel carriers. And, he was licensed to drive all that.
Right.
Well, now, they had him go into Ottawa, not even to his regiment in Petawawa. They had him go to another regiment because they had nobody that could drive.
Oh, wow.
So he had to go down there, pick them up in their vehicle, and take them to PET.
Yeah.
They were playing war, their winter survival thing they do every winter.
Right.
Pretty much you sleep out in the snowbank for the weekend. And but they tried. There's just, you can have purple hair now in the military, and it and don't get me wrong, I have nothing, with purple hair. But normally that means you're going through lifestyle, you're just trying to find out who you are.
Sure.
And that's okay. Yeah. But as a father, I don't know if that's the best thing, trying to see what you're capable of whenever you get deployed.
Yeah.
That purple hair is going to come out pretty quick whenever you're sitting in the trenches. So,
it might catch somebody and they go, "Whoa, what is that?"
Yeah. Out from underneath the helmet comes this purple hair, and guys, this used to be the military haircut.
Yeah.
Or what Mike had.
Yeah.
And now they're allowed long hair, flowing Goldilocks hair.
Yeah, I wore a flat top forever in the military.
Yeah.
High and tight on the side and a flat top on top. And then It got older and it went on vacation, never came back, as
You know,
Forrest Gump would say.
So yeah, no, yeah, there's a lot of things that, and I don't blame them. They're trying right now to get the numbers up,
Yeah.
and apparently they're still doing the mental part of the exams. I don't know how they can get away with that, but hey, and don't get me wrong, I'm okay with it.
You know, I would say honestly that I get it that people push certain agendas, but when it comes to the national security of your country and stuff like that, that should be where there's an off limits, because people just don't realize what it takes for people to protest, to argue, to push their agendas, and stuff like that freely. They just don't realize what it takes, nor do they really want to. But again, for how many years has there's never been people that waged war on U.S. or Canadian soil, And I'm guessing that if the U.S. got into a spat, a war, or whatever, and within a year we looked like, certain countries that are now waging war, people would probably stop and think, hey, what we're fighting for might be a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
And because if you woke up every morning and you lived in devastation from war, which is a very, I tell people every time that soldiers train for war but pray for peace. They don't want to go to war. They don't want to go out there and die for somebody. But if they have to, they will. And I think that until you experience that, it's kind of like the big push after 9/11. The military was just swelling because people wanted to sign up and that motivated them. But then a few years down the road, after 20 years, it's just like, oh my gosh, we're still doing this stuff. So it's just is what it is.
Absolutely. And sorry, Karma, I had a good laugh at that one. Colored hair and Goldilocks makes them a greater target.
You're not far from the truth.
No, it's really not.
I've never seen purple camouflage.
Well, I have, but not military camouflage. But it, and that's it. Unfortunately, it's going to be 4 years of this, and there's nothing we can do about it. Carry on. And, we knew it was going to happen. He was denied building hotels in Canada. Well, of course he's going to have a bee in his bonnet.
Yeah.
Who cares? He's only one. But anyways.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Just vote in a new prime minister?
They're announcing the election Sunday. Shh. You heard it here first, but
officially.
Secret. Secret. But yes, they will be announcing the election. I just hope he stays out of it. And the other
listen, there's no way in God's green earth that Canada would ever become a 51st state. If you are losing over some asinine thing that our president said. He does that for a reason.
He wants 15
he
minutes.
loves to stir
Yep.
turmoil within the liberal brain.
Yep.
He knows anything he says will be on the front page of every newspaper. He
Yep.
knows that. And he's living rent free in your brain. And
so is our Doug Ford.
Kool-Aid. You're drinking the Kool-Aid. And it's kind of like the tariff crap that's going on. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. It is not for a short-term gain. Tariffs are that's your long game. If I can use a golf analogy, it's your long game that they're looking at. And
the suffering that both countries are going to go through.
Exactly.
Is it will never pay. It's the same as a union going on strike.
Yeah.
You will never get your money back.
And people don't realize that tariffs is a way for governments, not businesses. It's for businesses to lose money, pass it on to the consumer, but it's a way governments make a lot of money. Okay. So you got to understand that tariffs are government revenue. So if you're sitting in Canada and let's say you're shipping strawberries down to the United States, okay, there's a tariff that has to be paid on whatever the farm tariff is or whatever. So the person shipping it has to pay the tariff. Well, the person receiving it, the company in the United States that's buying it from you, has to, because if you're running a business, you pass it on to the consumer, requires that tariff plus what they wanted for the strawberries back in return. So did they actually lose something? No. It's the demand dictates that we will buy it to include the tariff, and then we want to make money off of it here. So we have to pass on the tariff we paid to import it and the percentage that we want to make off of whatever goods that are being sold. So the real loser is the consumer and not the person selling it and not the person receiving it.
They're not going to
pay it. The government makes money and they do absolutely nothing. Okay. And if people remember the revolution, taxation without representation, hence people are up in arms thinking that, oh, tariffs are bad. Well, for governments, it's not bad at all. Okay. For governments, it's a cash cow. For the consumer, that is who's getting hurt. But you will get hurt in the beginning. But in the long term, you'll see relief and reduction and all that stuff later on. But we're such a society worldwide. We want it now. I want to order it from Amazon. I mean, people are getting to the point where they want Amazon to their brain and they want, hey, I was just thinking about that and Amazon delivered it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, we're instant gratification type people. That's why you can't take your TV to be repaired somewhere. You just toss it out and go to the Walmart and you buy another TV.
That's, like you cannot do that to your biggest, Canada's the number one purchaser of U.S. products. Vice versa.
Oh, sure.
We're brothers and sisters. We have been for 100 and some odd years.
Yeah.
We work together. We're like this. And right now it's starting to go like that. So somebody needs to give him a swift kick in the ass and get it back together. You know,
I understand.
We need what we have and we need what you have. Well,
sure.
Why don't we work together?
I understand the thinking mentality behind it. Nobody likes to lose.
No.
So
Well,
if one country is making more off tariffs than another country, and you go, wait a minute, we're getting screwed harder than they are. So why can't it be? And that's what I thought the whole North American free trade agreement was for the flow of goods and services back and forth.
it
And
was.
now they're saying, well, yeah, that was the intent, but we're losing money if we don't have tariffs, we're losing money. And governments, as they grow and grow and grow, need more and more money. So how are they going to make the money? So
My whole thing is do your research.
sure,
So this whole dairy tariff that you hear that Canada charges, you guys have never paid the tariff because you haven't needed to. Because what it is to protect our milk farmers, our dairy farmers.
sure,
So if they cannot sell their wares on either side, and more comes from the U.S. up, well, yeah, there's going to be a tariff put on so that our guy doesn't go out of business.
yeah,
But in the last 7 years, it's never been charged. Sure, there's a $200 or 200% tariff. But again, it's never been charged.
yeah,
Just learn your facts
Yep.
and that's what a lot of people do is they, I got to follow down the old golden path. Oh, man.
And Lewis Acre Farms just hit the nail on the head. What is the president's long-term game? Is to bring manufacturing and jobs back to the United States, okay? Because if you have a factory in the States, Toyota learned this, BMW learned this, Mercedes learned this, is, hey, if you ship a car, you have to pay this astronomical price in tariffs to bring those vehicles into the United States. However, if we open a plant in Tennessee, we can ship all the parts and not get hit with the tariff and assemble it in the States cheaper than paying the tariff bringing it in. And that is President Trump's long game, is to bring those manufacturers and those companies back, employ Americans to assemble everything. I mean, the quality's there, all the parts and everything. I mean, it doesn't take a brilliant scientist to take a impact and put a bolt into a car. You know what I'm saying? And
well, the robots do it now anyways.
Yeah. So yeah, he hit it right on the nail on the head.
Yeah, that's karma. That's karma. And absolutely. But what he bit off his nose to spite his face, because you cannot install a plant in 5 years, or it's going to be 5 to 7 years to install a plant.
Sure.
Well, he kind of jumped a little too quick, because now you have to pay those tariffs for 5 to 7 years.
Sure.
Well, really, at the end
does
of
it
the
really
7
matter
years,
when you start the tariffs? Because it's going to take
really
5 to 7
work.
years no matter what.
Every economist I've heard from this side, your side, they're all agreeing, like, this is stupid. Both countries are losing so much money right now.
Oh yeah, they are, no doubt.
And and like they said, the automakers, parts are made in Canada. The vehicles are made over there.
Yeah.
Well, geez, we're working together.
Yeah.
Everybody's got jobs going.
Sure. Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
What the hell? And same as us. It's cheaper for us to manufacture our gas and oil up here.
Yeah.
But they ship it down to Louisiana, and then it comes back as a finished product.
Yeah, because you guys are shipping crude south and paying a tariff. We're taking the crude. Companies are taking the crude, making gasoline, shipping it back up, paying a tariff. And then you as a consumer are paying astronomical prices for gas, where we're sitting on the biggest oil reserves, but we're not willing to pump the oil it takes, or we haven't in the past, and keeping everything within, because we have a lifetime of oil that we're sitting on top of, but yet we're still buying it from OPEC, and you're buying it from Argentina, and you're buying it from Canada.
Venezuela is the biggest one, I think, right now. And that's where we're buying it from, is Venezuela. We're shipping it down to you guys.
Yeah.
Very little's coming back home.
Right.
Because it's cheaper to buy Venezuelan gas. And
is it because you guys don't want to build a refinery in Canada?
I have a refinery 5 hours that way and 5 hours that way.
But it's still not enough to supply.
It's not big enough.
Bringing down the demand.
Exactly. And it helps our neighbors.
Sure.
So they ship a lot of it down.
Sure.
It's the same as the electricity. We sell it at a loss.
Yeah.
To help our neighbors.
Yeah. I mean, I get the point where you look at the actual who's getting screwed and who's not screwed as bad.
No.
And when you're saying, well, we're paying more in tariffs than other countries, and it's kind of like China. China ships that crap over here, and we can't ship nothing to China. Now we can ship food. We can ship food to China. Okay. And one of the
they're after our oil now too.
Yeah. What people were talking about is our farmers are growing stuff and shipping it overseas because they get a better price for it.
Mm-hmm.
Then we turn around, and this is stupid math, and then we turn around and buy food, the same type of food from Mexico, and they ship it up here. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like going, well, that's kind of like in Korea. Koreans grow rice and they ship it to Japan, and then they buy rice from Japan. I'm going, are you guys dumb or what? I mean, it doesn't make sense. I don't care if a can of green beans says Nebraska on it or it says Chihuahua, Mexico. I don't care, as long as I'm not paying an astronomical price for one can of, green beans in a can or frozen beans or whatever the case is. But if you've got the means to here, and if they do that, then the farmers want subsidies because they're not making as much if they ship their green beans over to China because they get a better deal on that. Then they want subsidies for it. So
it's the same as Taiwan wanting our liquefied natural gas.
Exactly.
We're not the largest country in the world for a reason, guys. We got like more stuff. It would sustain us for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Because we have the area, and it's all underneath our land.
Yeah.
The precious metals and whatever else. And again, like what Ford finally, I think he got it through to the secretary there last week. He's like, this whole he said, she said, it's got to stop. And I'm going to do this if you do that. If we work together, nobody would touch our two countries.
Yeah. And
it's like,
I agree.
We could be a mega power.
Yeah.
And I've said since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, we should have one currency over here. The best thing the EU did was go to one currency.
Yep.
And if you notice, they've been on the up and up ever since.
Well, you got to remember something, that when they went to the euro, the lira down in Italy was in the shitter. I mean, it wasn't worth nothing. So that country made out where Germany, and that's why England said, hey, they were going for the euro. Then they said, nope. Our economist says our pound is worth a hell of a lot more than that euro will ever be. And then they pulled out at the last minute, okay, because they didn't want to be part of that pregnancy, okay, of the euro. And then these countries where their money wasn't worth nothing, hey, they're on the same playing field as everybody else. Well, then you look at the German mark, it kind of tipped because the mark was a lot stronger than all these other countries. Now they're all on the same playing field, and now they're not getting the purchase power of the euro as they did when they had the Deutschmark.
Yep.
So,
oh yeah, and you look from 2009 to 2012, our dollar was worth way more than yours.
Yeah.
It keeps fighting itself. And economists have said that's dumb, guys.
Yeah.
You do one and you're going to flourish.
Yeah.
And, I can remember studying that in high school. Well, that was a few years ago. And, it's just, and I know what it is they want to keep separate, but at what point? Everything needs to evolve. And people don't like change. People hate change.
Yeah. It's like Lewis Akers said that they want to bring John Deere out of Mexico and bring it back to the United States. Well, one of the reasons when I bought my tractor, I didn't want to go John Deere because John Deere is like all the new pickup trucks. It's all electronics. It's all this other crap, and a farmer can't work on a John Deere anymore. You buy a brand new John Deere, you can't work on these things, especially these gigantic combines and stuff like that. You have to send out for a technician to come. You have to create a hotspot for them, Bluetooth your phone on the hotspot to your tractor so somebody somewhere work on your tractor to reset the machines and all the computers within there. Hence, I went with an LS where there's not a chip in my tractor whatsoever. Okay. And that's why there's all these off brands that are still surviving when they're saying John Deere is king of tractors. Well, it's going down because people, a lot of places don't make I don't think you can buy a Kubota, harvester or anything like that because that's not who their market is. It is the regular Joe that's got a homestead, needs a tractor, no more than 35 horsepower. They don't need a combine. And now these guys can't even work on their combines. They're sitting there in the field because it's broke down and they're waiting for a computer geek to come fix their tractor.
To fix their tractor, they need a computer geek.
Yeah. And that's insane.
Yeah. But you were saying Kubota is actually up to a 75 horsepower tractor now.
Yeah.
A lot of the boys up here are using it for snow removal.
Yeah.
Because it's like just the perfect size to be able to toss a foot of snow whenever we get it.
Yeah.
And so there's actually a really good YouTube channel. I got onto him, and he's from Thunder Bay, which is just across from the U.S. West. And Northern Snow, I think. No, it's under his name. Well, if you type in Northern Snow, it'll come up. And the kid's 23 years old, owns this company, owns 50 tractors, 50 blowers. And this kid is an entrepreneur and he is smart.
Yeah.
And he's a millionaire at 23. And daddy didn't have money. It's not mommy daddy's money. He worked his butt off.
Yeah. And he probably makes his entire year's salary during the winter.
They do landscaping because he likes to keep his men busy during the summer. So he has whenever they're done their first pass, there's coffee and muffins and donuts for the boys.
Yeah.
And whenever they come back in, if they've had a long night, he has like pizza or, feeds them. Like he looks after his men.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see.
Sure.
But, yeah, exactly, Karma.
But
Don't try
I
to
will
fix
agree
track.
with a lot of people that the mumbo jumbo is hurting a lot of personal relationships. And people don't dare talk about it because they don't want to hurt it, because everybody has strong feelings, no matter what party you're in, where you live, what country you live in, and so on and so forth. It's just people have to stop drinking the Kool-Aid, do your research, find out what the actual truth is, and don't just take the first time you hear something as gospel. Actually research it, educate yourself, and if you have to fight about a subject, and we learned this a long years ago about religion, if you yelling and screaming that you're the true religion, then if you have to yell and scream about it, it might not be the right thing, and you're fighting for no freaking reason. You know what I mean? You're fighting for no reason, and this shouldn't happen. I mean, we're the same people separated by a border. I mean, look,
an invisible line.
Exactly. And I agree with a lot of things that a lot of my friends up in Canada says. I believe it's very divisive, a lot of the talk. And guys, just don't wrap your life around what somebody says. Okay. Yeah. And now you see the same thing. Now they're fighting like little kids. Well, we're going to put a tariff on the electricity going down to Washington State. Well, if you do that, we're going to go from 25% tariff on your steel and aluminum ore that comes down here to 50%. Oh, we'll pull this back now. Ooh, he called our bluff. And it goes back and forth like a bunch of kids on a freaking school playground. And it just is absolutely tiring.
Not one thing that he's threatened has come true.
No, and it won't. So go on with your life. Enjoy your life. The sun will shine tomorrow. And do not wrap your whole life around this stuff. If you're paying high prices now, guess what? You're going to continue to pay high prices because there is not one investor that wants to take a cut in what they're making off these companies. And what is the job of the CEO is to make the stockholder, the shareholders happy. And actually, as soon as he starts losing them money, he's out on his ear, and his $1 million salary is going with him.
Exactly. So, and karma, the alcohol is a huge ouch.
Yeah.
Ontario alone, where I am, $1 billion a year is gone now. And it's ridiculous. And of course, every province has followed. That is a lot of friggin' money. And you know what?
You need to change your taste buds You need to change your taste buds. If you're paying too much for whatever your favorite thing is, you may need to change it up a little bit. Somebody the other day, somebody's saying, oh, now I'm going to pay an astronomical price for my Fosters because, importing it from Australia. And I'm going, dude, it's made in Florida. Fosters is not made in Australia. It's made in Tampa, Florida. And they're going, oh, I said, see, when you see the commercial, Foster's is, Australian for beer. It's not even made in the country. I went to Australia and I asked for a Foster and they're going, what? We don't carry that here. Like, what the frick?
Yeah, exactly.
We looked it up and we go, oh, wow, I need to go to Florida, take a tour of the plant. See, people get all wound up and they don't even
Yeah.
They have no facts to get wound up on.
Yeah. But again, Karma, it's not necessary for us. But there's people that enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's a $1 billion industry in Ontario. And
Sure.
that's only hard liquor.
Yeah.
That's not your beer. That's like, don't get me wrong. You know, I just, yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. But again, to the average person, you know, like Mike said, you know, change your taste buds. Like, yeah,
If your taste buds are for French wine,
yeah,
maybe you should turn to the Napa Valley. Okay.
exactly.
Or Joe's Vineyard down the road. He might have one wine that's pretty good and you might like it.
And
you know?
the vineyard chicks have fabulous wines
Yeah.
that they make on their farm.
There you go.
You know, and they're small market.
Yeah. Usually local wineries have a very small, but once they get people hooked on like we do, Terry loves the local winery here in Oklahoma. And
Yep.
if you didn't know, they have wineries in Oklahoma. And she absolutely likes it because they'll do something like they do this infused wines where you can have a jalapeno wine and you drink the wine and you taste it, then you feel the burn in the back of your throat, and people love it. Terry loves it. Okay.
Really?
There's pineapple infused wines. She doesn't drink it all the time, but for a change up, she'll open up a bottle of wine and she buys it at the local vineyards here, supporting local businesses and stuff like that. And maybe that is what people need to concentrate on, your local businesses. Okay.
Amen.
Why do you need something made in New York City when you have the same thing that's made in Ontario or wherever you live? I mean, you need to do your research in the fact that said, hey, I really love the Italian string beans, blah, blah, blah. Hey, what did they make there? Do your research, support your local businesses in your country or whatever. And then the demand goes for the local guy rather than the international guy. And you're supporting some guy who has a villa in Tuscany rather than somebody who has a cabin up in Canada land or whatever, you know?
Support
Support
and that's, you know, being on local politics, that's what I do is push all my local farmers, you know, from produce to meat. We're not allowed to drink raw milk here. People get fined, but you know, it's just buy local. You're supporting, and I did have a breakdown, and I'll try to find it, but it was if you spent $50 on a debit card or $50 cash, how much to a local farmer's that is that worth? And you know, to a large conglomerate like, but let's just pick on Walmart today. Walmart, well, that just goes to their yacht eventually, but yet to a local farmer anywhere, US, Canada, you know, it doesn't matter where, but a local farmer, it helps sign up their kids to sports. They sponsor, you know, sporting teams. They sponsor local events. You know, your money stays within your community or thereabouts. Of course, you know, last time I looked, there's nowhere to buy trucks or cars, you know, that's manufactured locally. But yeah, it just, you know, that's what a lot of the local communities have to do is get back to farmers markets.
Yeah.
stuff like that, where local people can sell their wares. And I don't mean buy it from a Chinese warehouse bulk buying place. I'm talking you buy it from, little Miss Molly who crocheted a beautiful Afghan, or, I'm just throwing stuff out that I don't even know if they go together or not. Yeah. But, it's all locally either handmade or, there's stuff that could be ordered from the US that somebody adds their spin to it here. Well, I call that local.
Yeah.
Because little Miss Molly needs to pay her mortgage too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I will tell you something that we learned something the other day when we went to the Walmart, and they had these little signs on all the self-checkout.
Okay.
Because that's what we use. And it said Nix the Six. Nix means no in German. Nix the Six. And we're going, what the heck does that mean? So of course, Terry, she has to know, and she gets on her phone and she's going,
Miss Debbie.
She goes, are you freaking kidding me? Here's what it means. In 1949, Oklahoma was one of 7 states or 6 states or whatever it was that said that if you're a box store, because that's when the big box stores started coming out, you have to add 6% to anything you sell. Okay. Anything you sell, so that local businesses can compete with you. So Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, blah, 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 all these big box stores, when you go shopping there in Oklahoma, whatever they buy, because they can buy it in bulk like small places can never do. So they can sell it cheaper. So they're saying, no, you have to add 6% of the cost of that, increase the price of it so that the smaller stores can compete. Well, in McAllister, there's only one other supermarket chain, really, or not even a chain. It's called Pruitt's Market. And it's a store. Then you got DG and all these other places. And Dollar General markets are so expensive right now. It's pathetic. You have to really need something right then, and you don't want to drive a long distance to go get it in our area. So, wow. And oh, by the way, they're closing like $300 Dollar Generals because they're failing. It's just failing. So Terry kept looking at it, and then she found out there was like 6 or 7 other states that have this same law. And now Oklahoma, somebody that's in our state legislature had this bright idea that says, hey, we don't need this law no more. Let's help the consumer by getting rid of adding 6% to everything that you buy at these big box stores. It should be tag goes to the runner, and the runner should be the consumer. Okay. Yeah. So now it's going up there. It passed our House, and now it's up at the Senate. And once it goes there, then the governor will sign it, and we can get rid of that 6% increase on all goods that are sold within the state of Oklahoma. And we can get off that stupid roster, and it helps the consumer and not just businesses. Look, I mean, to me, it's like, okay,
if you're going to shop local,
this is basically a subsidy to help the people stay in business. I mean, we are a market-based society, you know, and I get it. You want to keep the small businesses, but you don't see these little corner grocery stores or nothing like that. You see gas stations, and it's not just on foods and products. It's also on gasoline. So if you're a chain of gasolines, whatever, like Alsup's or whatever it is, Love's Truck Stop, you have to add 6% to everything you sell, and that's not fair to the consumer. It's just
Well,
helping
hopefully,
somebody else and not
yeah.
you as a consumer.
Hopefully they take that 6% though and give it back to the consumer and don't leave it in their pockets.
Exactly. So,
and there's no
and
way
the
to
state, the
really.
state's not really benefiting anything. I mean, they're doing a markup and they're getting the tax dollars. I get that, but our governor just signed the bill. There's no state tax on food in the state of Oklahoma now. We followed Texas. So now we don't pay tax to the state on food when you buy it at your local grocers.
Mhm.
So,
Really?
yeah, that's true. Well, it's
Wow.
the same thing if you go to McDonald's here, right?
Yeah.
They have a thing inside. If you look at your receipt, there's a dine-in tax and there's a takeout tax. Like what? What? They just added it on there besides your regular tax because they said, "Oh, that covers the cost of condiments and stuff like that." And I said, "Can you take this off here? Because I don't want your ketchup. You can keep your napkins. You can keep all that stuff. I don't need it." She goes, "Well, it also pays for the box that the Big Mac comes in and all this other. They're using it to recoup money." And if you look at that, you go, "Holy!" Read your receipts and see how you're getting screwed by.
I'm gonna have to look next time I go to any place like that and see, because that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like that should be all. We pay enough for the product. We shouldn't be paying another 5 cents or whatever in tax on top of that for the cardboard box.
Yeah.
Go back to cellophane. I don't care.
All right, Scott, I gotta go.
Yes, I gotta sign out of here too. And
all right. Thanks for having me up.
Hey, anytime, brother. You know that.
I do go live on Mondays and Fridays. Morning talk with Mike.
I'm normally there, but I'm
if anybody's interested
usually laying in bed listening
with me, please join me on Mondays and Fridays at 8:30 in the morning in the AMs, Central Standard Time.
Yes, it was something you said, Rochelle.
All right.
Rochelle just came in and said, "Oh, is it something I said?" And we said, "No, you're here, so we're leaving."
Hey, fellas. Hey, fellas. She's so dang good looking, man.
Oh, man. She is a hoot in real life.
We had to give Canada something, so we gave you Rochelle.
Well, thanks. Thanks.
Don't sound depressed when I say that. She's a candle in the night.
Okay.
We love her. We love her.
She is a blast, and
I just wish
even funnier than real life.
Sending Terry pictures of big muscular guys with their shirts off, like firefighters and stuff like that.
Well, they're just.
It's giving me a complex. I don't have that body no more. I have the dad keg. Okay.
Well, yeah. Don't forget, you're the grandpa keg. I'm the dad keg.
I got the grandpa keg right here. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And
all right, guys.
Stop putting notions in your daughter's head that they're a princess and they're going to marry some gorgeous looking guy. This is what pays the bills right here.
That's right.
And you get more mirror time in the morning.
Yeah. Gathered together homestead. Howdy, folks.
Hey, howdy.
How are you?
Hey, we'll see you, Scott. Thanks for having me.
Take care, Mike.
All right.
Thanks for stopping by. All right, guys. Well, I will see you guys later. Once I find out the button to press. I pressed it. Doesn't want to go away. Come on now. Say goodbye.